centripetal force is a real force, whereas centrifugal force is non-real force, or we can call it as pseudo force. Centripetal force is a real force because we can explain the centripetal force with Newton's laws of motion. If you consider a reference frame, then the motion of the particle is taken in reference with the origin. As the particle keeps on changing its position on the circumference of the circle, the reference point used is O, and so the reference frame remains steady. It is an inertial frame of reference. And so Newton's laws can be applied for this, and so centripetal force is a real force. But when we consider about centrifugal force, as the position of the particle keeps on changing on the circumference of the circle, in order to explain the motion for this, here we see that the reference frame keeps on shifting as per the change in the position of the particle. And so here the reference frame becomes accelerated. And in such accelerated frame of reference, Newton's laws cannot be applied. And so then the centrifugal force becomes a pseudo force, or it becomes a non-real force. And so, unless and until centripetal force is there, centrifugal force will not come into existence. Now, when we consider about these two forces, and we know that both are having the same formula for their magnitudes, only there is a difference in their sign, as Cf is equal to mv square upon r, or mr omega square. We can apply this particular formula in our day-to-day experience. If we consider a plain horizontal road, and this plain horizontal road is having a curvature, let O be the center of curvature and R be the radius of curvature. If any of the vehicle which is moving with certain velocity v takes a turn, on this curved road, then the passengers which are sitting inside the car or the vehicle will experience a centrifugal force, because of which they tend to move in outward direction. But there will be a frictional force present between the tire of car and the road. This frictional force will always act in inward direction toward the center of the curvature, and this frictional force will always act as centripetal force. So the frictional force F is acting in inward direction, and centrifugal force acting in outward direction. If these two forces are in equilibrium, then the car will move safely on this curved track. But if centrifugal force increases as compared to the frictional force, that is the centripetal force, then while taking the turn on the curved road, the vehicle tends to move in outward direction, and so if the speed is more, then the vehicle may experience such an outward pull that it will meet an accident. So let us try to find out a relationship between these two forces so that in what manner we can drive a vehicle on a plain curved road safely. Now in such a case, consider a vehicle having mass m, and so the weight of the vehicle mg will always act in downward direction perpendicular to the horizontal. As the weight acts in downward direction, road will offer normal reaction which will be acting in upward direction. Frictional force, which is a centripetal force, will be acting in inward direction, and as vehicle moves with velocity v, centrifugal force will be acting in outward direction, radially outward direction, as the vehicle takes a turn on the curvature. So this centrifugal force we will be able to give as mv square upon r. mv square upon r. What we know that usually in equilibrium condition the frictional force Fs is directly proportional to normal reaction N. So the frictional force will be equal to mu times the normal reaction, where mu is constant of proportionality. It is called as coefficient of friction. Mu is coefficient of friction. In equilibrium condition, as the car is on horizontal road, normal reaction will be equal to the weight of the car, so we can express normal reaction as mg. So frictional force can be expressed as mu into m into g. Now this frictional force in equilibrium condition will be balanced by the centrifugal force. So here we can write the expression as centrifugal force is equal to frictional force. So mv square upon r, this will be equal to mu into m into g. Cancelling the common terms from both sides, we'll get the expression as v square is equal to mu into g into r. As we take the r on the right hand side, it will go to the numerator, and so v is equal to under root mu g r. Now when we have derived an expression for velocity of the car with which it moves on the curved horizontal road, this v is from the centrifugal force expression. In order to maintain the equilibrium condition that frictional force matches the centrifugal force, the value of velocity is given by under root mu into g into r. Knowing the value of mu, that is the coefficient of friction, we know the value of g, it is approximately 9.8 meter per second square, and once we construct the road, we know the radius of curvature. Knowing these particular values, we'll get a value of the velocity with which we can drive vehicle on a curved road. If the value of the velocity, the real velocity of a vehicle exceeds this particular value, then there are chances of getting this vehicle toppled down or thrown out of the curvature, and it may meet an accident. And so we are able to get the limiting value of velocity of a car. But here the value of velocity is depending upon the value of coefficient of friction. The value of mu is variable because it depends upon the value of road condition, and it will also depend upon the tire condition. If suppose road is rough and tires are new, having a very good grip, then the frictional force will be higher and the coefficient of friction will be at a higher side. Then the product mu into g into r will be of a higher value, so that vehicle can move with the higher speed on the curved road. But if the road is very smooth, many a times it becomes slippery if oil is spilled on the road, or if sand is there, or if the road becomes wet, as in case of the rainy season, mud comes on the road, then the road becomes slippery. In that case, the value of mu decreases. As value of mu decreases, the required safe value of velocity also decreases. All the time, the tire condition cannot be good as in case of the new tires. By using the vehicle, the tires may get weared out and they become smooth. If the road is smooth and or slippery, and if the tires are also smooth, if the design has got weared out, then the value of mu also become critically less, thereby reducing the value of the safe speed with which the vehicle can take the turn safely on the curb. In order to deal with this particular problem, a concept of banking of road has been explained. On a curved path, on a curved section, road is banked. In banking of the road, as compared to the inner edge of the road, outer edge of the road is elevated with reference to the horizontal level. So let this height be h, and L is the length of the road. And so because of this particular elevation of the road, here we get angle of inclination or angle of banking, that is theta. So theta is angle of banking. Angle of banking. Such road is called as banked road. When any of the vehicle moves on such curved banked road, then how we can resolve the different forces acting on the vehicle. For this vehicle, if m is the mass of the vehicle, its weight W is equal to mg is going to act vertically downward. But the normal reaction offered by the road to the vehicle will be perpendicular to the plane of the road. So this is the normal reaction. So in such a case, we can resolve the normal reaction into two components. Vertical component and horizontal component. Vertical component and horizontal component. If I plot this horizontal component over here, this is angle theta. So, with this, I can write this as n sin theta, and this expression can be expressed as n cos theta. N sin theta as the horizontal component, n cos theta as the vertical component. At the same time, frictional force acts on the road and the tire. Frictional force is between road and the tire. It will be acting in downward direction if the speed of vehicle is more and it tends to move in outward direction. The frictional force will be acting in upper direction if the vehicle is moving slowly and tend to move in downward direction. So the frictional force will be either acting in the upper direction or toward the lower direction. If we consider about the vehicle moving with a speed in such a way that the frictional force acts in downward direction when the centrifugal force is acting in outward direction, then this frictional force we are able to resolve into two components. One is the downward component and other is horizontal component. Downward component and horizontal component. So we can resolve these two components as